Hi everybody, this is Vitorials, and today we are gonna talk about the history and anatomy of Chevron logo. And then I'm gonna show you how to design this logo inside Adobe Illustrator. And you may ask me, why should we care about this logo of just another greedy oil and gas corporation? And in this video I'll try to convince you that this iconic logo is one of the greatest examples how influential and effective SMART logo can be. SMART is an abbreviation that stands for simple, memorable, appropriate, resizable, and timeless. In fact, this mark gives the name of the whole corporation. In 1977, when 6 oil and gas operators merged into the one corporation, chief executive decided to name the whole corporation as Chevron because it became the most recognizable mark of the company. And this is a quote from an official Chevron website. First logo was nothing to do with the simplicity and memorability of chevrons. The history of company started in 1879 when Pacific Coast Oil Company was established in San Francisco. It has a definitely vintage wordmark highlighted on the picturesque landscape of Santa Susana Mountains. The greatest redesign of this logo was in 1931 when chevron shape was introduced. There was a couple of redesigns, first in 1948, right after World War II, and in 1969 that brought us a 2 chevron instead of 3. The last redesign in 2001 add a little bit more depth to this logo, and it beautifully conveys the vision of the company that found itself looking for the resources in ever more difficult environments, deeper, more remote and increasingly complex fields. Let's take a closer look at the modern logo and how to design it in Illustrator. And first I want to begin how not to design this logo. This is not a logo traced with a pen tool or created with the simple shapes like triangles and then other rectangles that you can see in a bunch of tutorials here on YouTube. Don't watch these tutorials because this is not how this logo is structured. One of the rules of this logo, the whole is more than sum of the parts. Because chevron shapes are stacked upon each other, they create a third dimension with a negative space. It's like a cubes sitting one on another, creates some kind of oil platform where the chevron wordmark is sitting upon it. And this is one of the reasons why in most cases name of the company is sitting right on the logo mark. Another peculiarity of this logo, it's highly proportional. The width of this logo is twice as much as the height of this logo and 6 times as much than the height of this small triangle on the bottom. And this is a key feature that allows us to create this logo in most efficient and most convenient way in Adobe Illustrator. So let's create our chevron logotype in Adobe Illustrator, and let's start with our grid. Set up our grid. I have a reference file that I download from LogoWiki. Hit Ctrl quote to show your grid and Ctrl Shift quote to snap your grid, and let's customize our grid. Go to Edit, Preferences, and Whiten Grid. Here we are interested in only 2 values. This is we need to set up a grid line every 120 pixels and number of subdivisions to 6. So we have this large square 120 pixels width and height, and this small cell inside is 20 pixels width and height. Let's start with our polygon tool. Create a default hexagon. Holding Shift key, rotate it to 90 degrees to the left. Then increase the width and height a little bit. And go to your transform panel. There is it. Make sure that your width and height is not linked. Then go to your width and set the value to 720 pixels. So it's now equals the width of the 6 large squares. And set the height to 880 pixels. So it now equals 4 of these squares. I want to move this to the bottom a little bit. Get rid of the fill. Set to the default black stroke. And I want to increase stroke, but it's not necessary for you. Just make sure that everything is visible. Then double click on selection tool to open the move dialog box. Set the horizontal value to 0. Set the vertical value to 280 pixels. We're gonna move this on 2 large squares to the bottom or to the top. If you want to move to the top, set to negative 240 pixels. Click copy to produce a duplicate, and then Ctrl D, Command D to repeat this operation again. And now we have all our components to build our chevron. I want to, with my shape builder tool, all 3 are selected. Create this shape and this triangle. And I want to delete all the passes that are around. Group these 2 shapes using my right mouse button key. Double click on the selection icon to open the move dialog box again. Set the vertical value to 280 pixels to move it to the bottom, and set the gap to 40 pixels. Click copy to produce a duplicate. Now we have our logo and we need to set up a gradient. For doing this, I want to show you a very simple technique. First, set a default gradient. If you can find your gradient, go to the Windows Gradient. Then select your black stop color, grab your airdropper tool, holding Shift key, sample the darkest color from your original logo. Then select the white stop color and sample the brightest color from your original logo. I want to get rid of this stroke and align my gradient using gradient tool. Click G from top left to bottom right, something like so. We need to play a little bit with this gradient. I think maybe darken the color, and for this shape, I want to apply the same gradient, but it's a little bit more complex. It requires 4 color stops. I want to grab my bright blue color and move it to the center. Then I want to duplicate my dark color and move it to the left, and duplicate my bright color and move it to the 7.5% to the left. So we have our gradient. I want to change the angle to 75 degrees, and here we are. This gradient looks very much the same as original. We need to play with the colors, and we need to apply the same logic, the same technique for this red chevron. By the way, speaking about techniques, it's always better to create swatches if you're working in real world projects. So simply grab all of your colors and create swatches. But for the aim of this tutorial, we don't need this because it leads to unnecessary steps, make my tutorial a little bit more complex. Let's set up a typography. It's our last step. I want to grab my type tool and type a chevron. and I want to set it to Myriad Pro Bold. I believe this is a free type. You can find this type for free, just simply Google it. But when I download it from fontpalace.com, I didn't find any licensing information. If you have already installed this type in your desktop, good to you, you can follow along this tutorial. So this is basically the end of my tutorial. If you like it, please give a thumb up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friend. I want to thank you for following to the end and waiting for your suggestion. What logo we should discuss in the next video. I'm waiting for your comments in the comments form below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.